back to the Reptile Room, and today we're going to talk about what happened to us here in the Reptile Room on Wednesday. Now, we're here in Cincinnati, Ohio, and we had some big storms come ripping through on Wednesday night, and we lost our power. We were actually hearing, the tornado sounds, the sound of a train and whatnot. It was pretty intense. We didn't have any real damage or anything around our neighborhood, at least not really walking around and hearing about big trees or anything. We lost some limbs, but no big deal. So I'm gonna tell you how I kind of came down here and treated the room and what I would recommend doing, and kind of why the whole reason why I built this room was to help with power outage. If you lose power, heat is your first necessity, right? So for some of these tropical animals that want higher temperatures. So the thing I was concerned about overall was just their heat is ultimately out. Lighting, no big deal. It was 10:30 at night. I was actually in the middle of playing some games with some friends online, and then boom, power out. After checking out around the house and making sure everything was good there, first things first, it's insulated so the heat will stay in. So that was one thing. So I didn't really want to come in here too much, but again, it's a bigger room, bigger volume. Once the heat stays in here, it kind of stays for a little while. Again, having it at night wasn't really a big deal until until the next day when we woke up, still had no power. Right, so that was interesting. I thought it would be back a little bit quicker. Guess not. Duke had their hands full. Turns out there were 75,000 people without power in Cincinnati. So our street wasn't just the only one affected. It was everybody. The whole city was kind of affected by it. Pretty intense storm. They finally got the power on around 10:30. They finally got the power on around 11 in the morning. And that was, about 12 hours, pretty intense. So if the power was going to be out for longer than that, I was going to start to get a little bit more concerned with maybe the snakes, right? So a trick to do with the snakes is just getting a bottle of water and warm it up however you can, I guess. In a power outage, it's a little bit of a challenge to do that, but if you have like a camp stove, you could probably warm it up, get out your Boy Scout equipment. Not that I have any of, but I have plenty of camping gear. So any of that, just some way to heat up some water and throw a water bottle in here wrapped in a towel or something. Your snakes I've actually had to do that in my first reptile room that did not have good insulation, and when I lost power, it actually killed the heat pad when the power came back on because it was on so much, and I didn't actually catch it because I didn't have nearly as many temperature probes as I do now. So that's another thing. If you have a lot of temperature probes, use your temperature probes and pay attention. So when power finally came back on down here, I wasn't really worried about the basilisks. It's mostly just their lights and the air stone, which is controlled by the mechanical timers that I have. So I just came down here, and that's a funny thing because you can tell exactly when power went out because it was stopped at 10:30 something p.m., right? So I just dialed it back up to when I want the lights to turn on, 8 o'clock in the morning, and then they shut off they start turning off at 8 p.m. I kind of have them phase out in phases so it seems like the sun is setting to give the reptiles that illusion. So the only other thing I was really concerned about was just keeping the leopard gecko eggs going, and the nice thing is this room stays at a good 75 to 76 degrees. So short-term eggs can probably deal with that. And again, power outage goes on longer, then I'm starting to run into other issues. I don't have battery backups. That's another thing I've been thinking about adding, but I would kind of want to do the whole house. So then it's like a Tesla Powerwall, or some sort of device like that, which is excessive, I think. So I'm trying to find a happy medium between that I need a lot of power banks. Alright, so we finally got the power back on in the morning, 11. I came down here, I just gave everybody food, I changed their timers back for their lighting, which is just Roni's side and this side, which is awesome because I have 2 timers that I have to change, and that's it now. So that's perfect. So I changed those 2 timers back, and Roni's heat alarm from his Wi-Fi Inkbird controller was going off as soon as the power came back on. So that was cool. I don't think he enjoyed it too much, but it alerted me to know that that was definitely low on temperature, which I was aware because it was a power outage. So it's nice to know that if the heater or the heat tape or my heat emitter up there were to die and the temperature on the rock dropped too low for the sensor, the alarm would go off and I know it was time to change the heat emitter. So that's really nice to know that that test worked out. So yeah, as far as your reptiles are concerned, like if you have a full glass enclosure with that's more insulated, just don't open it. Just leave it alone. Your animal will be fine. Just leave it alone. Don't panic. Right? You want to just don't panic. First things first, take care of yourself in a big storm or power outage like that. Make sure you're set. And then you can start thinking about how you might handle your reptiles or change some stuff around. Roni, totally fine, short term. You know, he could have just come upstairs. If power was going to be out for more than a couple days, I probably would have just put the snakes in tubs that I have, and the leopard geckos would probably be fine down here in the dark. The basilisks, I would have to put in a larger tub, I think, and bring them upstairs and just try to get them around. Alright guys, so I want to talk to you about this enclosure, the curio cabinet conversion that we did. So I've been given a couple of suggestions and I really like two of them and I want to throw those out there for you guys, and this is what I want your comments on. So I need you to comment down below on choice A, which is going to be the White's tree frog or the Dumpy frog, and choice B is going to be the emerald tree skink, which looks really cool and is a little bit more different. It's a little bit more uncommon. It used to be more common apparently. I've never really heard of it. So thanks for whoever sent me that suggestion, but those are going to be the two choices. So we're going to start thinking about finishing this out and getting the animals in over the next maybe month or so. So those are your choices. Comment down below. A for the White's tree frog or B for the emerald tree skink. So those are going to be your choices. Alright, so again, don't forget to comment the choices down below. Like and subscribe if you like seeing what you're seeing here. Don't forget to subscribe and we'll see you on the next video, guys. Pooposaurus Rex over here. That's what you get.